Hi everyone, welcome back. So today I have another video on time. So today we're going to be learning about how to tell time to the half hour using an analog clock. Now remember, this is an analog clock. It has the hour numbers all around, it has an hour hand and a minute hand, and it has a clock face. Now, before we get started, I want us to review the clock that I showed you in yesterday's lesson. So, I showed you this clock, which has the hour numbers and the minute numbers. So, let's just review the minute numbers for today. So we're going to start right here on top of the 12 with those 2 zeros. Then we're going to count all the way around until we get back up to those 2 zeros. So let's get started. We have 0, and make sure to count along with me. We have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Oops, let me move back up. We have 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, and then we're back to those double zeros. In order to tell time to the half hour, first I'm going to show you on my analog clock, and then we'll switch back to our clock with all the hour numbers and the minute numbers. So in order to tell time to the half hour on an analog clock, the hour hand can be on any number that you would like. It can be on any number. But the minute hand will always be right here on the 6. So let's say I put my hour hand at the 3, and then I have my minute hand at the 6. So my analog clock says that it is 3:30. Now, we know this because the hour hand is pointing to the 3 and the minute hand is pointing to the 6. But that doesn't mean that it's 3:06. This minute hand is actually pointing to that imaginary 30. Remember when I showed you my other clock, and if you look below the 6, we have a 30 right there, and that tells us the minutes that we are in. So right now I'm going to draw how 3:30 would look on this analog clock that I drew on my dry erase board. So this is how 3:30 would look on my analog clock. I have the hour hand pointing to the 3. It's pointing to the purple 3 because these purple numbers tell us what hour that we are in. And then the minute hand is pointing down here to the 30 because these red numbers all around tell us the minute numbers. So it's not pointing to the 6, it's pointing to that imaginary 30 that tells us what minutes that we are in. So this analog clock says it is 3:30. Let's practice again. We're gonna start with our other red analog clock, and then we'll switch to this one. Now my time is going to say 12:30. And how do we know this? We know this because the hour hand is pointing to the 12. Now remember, these big numbers, they tell us what? Please say it out loud. They tell us what hour we are in. And the minute hand is pointing to the 6, but it's not actually pointing to the 6. what is it actually pointing to? I want you to pause the video right now and say it out loud. Now, if you said that this minute hand is actually pointing to that imaginary 30, then you are correct. Great job. That is correct. So this clock says it's 12:30. And now I'm going to show you on my dry erase board analog clock how that looks. Now on my dry erase board analog clock, I have the hour hand pointing to the 12, just how I had it pointing to the 12 on this clock. So I have these two clocks saying the same thing. So just to repeat what I said, I have the hour hand pointing to the 12, then I have the minute hand pointing down here to the 6. But remember, it's not actually pointing at that 6. It's pointing right here to that imaginary 30. And remember, those numbers in red tell us the minutes that we are in. So this clock says 12:30. Let's do one more. Now, let's look at our analog clock again. We have the hour hand pointing to the 5 and the minute hand pointing to the 6. Now, if you know what time it is, please say it out loud right now. If you said 5:30, you are correct. Great job. So we know that the time is 5:30 because our hour hand is pointing to the 5. And remember, all these big numbers here tell us the hour that we are in. And the minute hand is pointing to the 6. But remember, is the minute hand really pointing to the 6? Thumbs up for yes or thumbs down for no. Now, if you put thumbs down for no, you are correct. It's not actually pointing to that 6. It's pointing to that imaginary 30 that tells us the minutes that we are in. So this clock says it is 5:30. Okay, now that we're looking at this clock, we have the hour hand pointing to the 5, which tells us what hour that we are in. Then we have the minute hand pointing to the 6, but it's not actually pointing to the 6. It's pointing to that 30 that tells us the minutes that we are in. So this clock says 5:30. So this is the last one for today, and thank you for participating in my lesson.